Tonight, we're diving into one of the greatest technological battles of all time. This is the story of how our modern world got its power. It was a fight that pitted two of the most brilliant minds in history against each other: Thomas Edison, the established king of invention, and Nikola Tesla, the visionary challenger. This wasn't just about light bulbs and wires. This was a war for the future.
Hey, before you jump into the thick of it, just a quick note. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, share and like my videos. It really helps us make more explainers like this one. The information in this explainer is compiled from open sources. Thank you. Okay, let's get into the fight.
So the entire war really boils down to this. On one side, you've got Edison's direct current, or DC. It was the standard at the time, but it had a huge problem. It was low voltage and could barely travel a mile. That meant you needed a power plant on pretty much every city block. On the other side, you have the revolutionary challenger, alternating current, or AC, championed by Tesla and his backer, George Westinghouse. AC was high voltage, could be easily transformed, and could be sent for hundreds of miles. It was a battle between a safe but small-scale system and a bold, world-changing vision.
And here's how we're going to break down this epic story. We'll start with the rivalry that set the stage, then look at the brilliant vision for AC. Next, we'll cover Edison's ruthless campaign against it, followed by the huge triumph at the World's Fair. Then the ultimate test at Niagara Falls, and finally, the legacy that lights up our world today.
All right, let's set the scene. It's the late 1880s. Most cities are still lit by the dim glow of gas lamps. Electricity is this new, exciting magic, and Thomas Edison is the magician in charge. His direct current system is the gold standard, but its weakness, that 1-mile range, is a massive, expensive problem.
And into this world steps Nikola Tesla. He's a young, incredibly brilliant inventor from Serbia, and he arrives in America with a head full of revolutionary ideas, and this absolutely glowing letter of recommendation. He goes straight to work for the man he admires most in the world, Thomas Edison.
At first, things seem great. Tesla tells Edison he can make his inefficient DC generators way better. Edison, maybe half joking, offers him a $50,000 bonus if he can pull it off. That's over $1 million today. Well, Tesla works like a madman and does it. He completely redesigns the generators. But when he asks for the bonus, Edison just laughs in his face. "Tesla," he says, "you don't understand our American humor." For Tesla, this was the ultimate betrayal. He resigned right then and there, and just like that, the war had begun.
After leaving Edison, Tesla hit rock bottom. I mean, the man was a genius, and he spent a year literally digging ditches just to survive. But a mind like his couldn't be kept down for long. He eventually found new investors, including the powerful industrialist George Westinghouse, who instantly saw that Tesla's vision for alternating current wasn't just a small improvement, it was a total game changer.
And this right here, this was the heart of Tesla's vision. It was the technical knockout punch, the polyphase AC induction motor. It was an engine that DC just couldn't compete with. You see, by using multiple currents that were slightly out of sync, the polyphase part, it created a rotating magnetic field that spun the motor with no physical brushes. That made it incredibly simple, efficient, and reliable. This wasn't just about lighting bulbs anymore. This was about powering the heavy machinery of the entire industrial revolution.
And here's AC's other huge advantage. With a simple device called a transformer, you could step up the voltage to incredibly high levels. This allowed the electricity to travel hundreds of miles with very little energy loss. Then, at the other end, you could step it down to a safe voltage for homes and factories. So a single massive power plant could light up an entire region. Edison's DC? It was stuck needing a power station on every corner. The difference in scale was just staggering.
Edison saw the writing on the wall. He knew he couldn't beat AC on technical merit. So what did he do? He decided to fight dirty. He launched one of the most vicious smear campaigns in history, not to prove that DC was better, but to terrify the public into believing that AC was a deadly menace.
This wasn't a small-time thing. Over 2 years, Edison's team waged a systematic war of fear. They hired a man named Harold P. Brown to be their attack dog. He seized on any accident involving high-voltage wires, held horrifying public demonstrations, and lobbied politicians, all to paint one clear picture in the public's mind: AC kills.
I mean, the tactics they used were truly shocking. Brown, secretly paid by Edison, would go around publicly electrocuting stray dogs, cats, even a circus elephant, all with AC power, just to generate terrifying headlines.
Then they worked behind the scenes to make sure the world's first electric chair was powered by a Westinghouse AC generator. They wanted to literally associate their rival's name with death. Edison even tried to get people to call it being Westinghouse.
All that propaganda was doing some serious damage, but the real war wasn't going to be won in the newspapers. It was going to be won by a demonstration of power. And that showdown came in 1893 at the Chicago World's Fair. It was billed as the first all-electric fair in history, and the contract to light it, well, that was the ultimate prize.
The bids really tell you everything you need to know. Edison's DC system would have required tons of thick, expensive copper wire and a whole bunch of little power plants all over the fairgrounds. His bid came in at $1 million, but Westinghouse, using AC, could do it all from one central power plant with thinner wires. His bid was less than half that. The economics were just impossible to argue with. Westinghouse and Tesla won.
But Edison had one last card to play. As a final, bitter move, he refused to let Westinghouse use his patented light bulb. Think about that. With the fair's grand opening just months away, Westinghouse had the contract and the power, but absolutely nothing to turn that power into light. It was a potential disaster.
What happened next was just a miracle of engineering. In an insane race against time, Tesla and his team designed a completely new and actually better light bulb from scratch. Then they had to manufacture 50,000 of them. And somehow, they did it. On opening night, May 1st, 1893, a switch was flipped, and the entire fairground exploded into a dazzling city of light. Millions of visitors were bathed in the glow of AC power. It was spectacular, and it proved once and for all that AC was not only efficient, but safe and beautiful.
Riding high on that massive victory in Chicago, Tesla and Westinghouse set their sights on an even bigger prize. It was the dream of engineers for a generation, harnessing the raw, immense power of Niagara Falls.
And you have to understand, for Tesla, this was more than just a project. It was destiny. As a little boy in Serbia, he saw a picture of Niagara Falls in a book and told his uncle, "One day I will go to America and put a giant wheel under the falls to capture its power." This was the fulfillment of a childhood vision.
On November 16, 1896, that dream became a reality. The giant turbines at Niagara sprang to life, and electricity flowed 26 miles to light up the city of Buffalo. That number, 26 miles, was unthinkable with DC. This was the final, undeniable, irrefutable proof. AC could deliver huge amounts of power over vast distances. The debate was over. The war was won.
After the triumph at Niagara, that was it. The argument was settled. Alternating current was the future, and everyone in the industry, including Edison's own allies, knew they had to get on board or get left behind.
The market delivered the final verdict. Edison was actually pushed out of his own company. It merged with a competitor and became the company we know today as General Electric. And what was one of the first things GE did? It licensed Tesla's AC patents so it could compete. In the end, business pragmatism won out over one man's stubborn pride.
Years later, a much older Thomas Edison apparently ran into the son of one of the early AC pioneers, and he offered a quiet, simple admission. He said, "Tell your father I was wrong." In the end, even the great inventor had to concede he had backed the wrong horse.
So when you boil it all down, what do we take away from this? This wasn't just about two inventors. It was a clash between two fundamentally different visions for the future. You had Edison's vision of small, localized power versus Tesla's grand vision of a vast, interconnected grid. And thanks to Tesla's brilliant motor and those huge public victories, his vision is the one that won, creating the very world we live in today.
It's such a powerful lesson, isn't it, that the best technology doesn't always win on its own. It has to fight, it has to overcome fear and prove itself. The war of currents literally defied how power worked for the 20th century, so it leaves us with a pretty big question. What is the great technological war that's going to define our century?